Hello guys, welcome back to Invasion Season 3 Episode 3. I do want to preface this video with which side? This side, green screen. I don't want to get too into it, but trying to fix it. It's really dark out, which doesn't help, so you might notice the green screen on this side is a little finicky. If you've been tuning into the videos, you know the right side's been a little finicky, but I actually got that more under control, but now the left side's might show up a little more obvious that it's a green screen, but can't do much. I will try and get it fixed by next video. I got some ideas, but here we are for this video, Season 3, Episode 3 of Invasion. And I will preface this with saying I actually did enjoy the episode. I enjoyed it. But we start in Boise, Idaho, former United States. And we get the fan spinner shot. It was in the trailer I talked about. I like shots where they start off at like an object or something, and then somebody takes the object and you follow them. And yeah, I like that. And there's just a party going on, block party. Everyone's chilling, and we see Anisha for the first time of the season. And Anisha calls Ryder honey, which was like shocking. Obviously, if you remember, Ryder is Clark's daughter, so like it wasn't like a honey like hey honey. It was like a like daughter honey. We see Sarah call Clark dad already, which they obviously wanted this to show you, kind of like not tell you. I wanted to show you that, which I think was cool. But Anisha wants some guy apparently to go to the hospital, and she basically reveals in this conversation that they moved here a year ago, which is interesting. And we see Luke in a band, like chilling, having fun. And I was thinking in this moment, like, this is such Hollywood fake happiness when they try and like, oh, look at this family in this happy situation before things go wrong. Like, it was it's fake happiness, but whatever. It's I'm cool with happiness. But in the band they sing Mr. Brightside, but like, why is it always Mr. Brightside? Since when did that song start getting like crazy about? It's like at every baseball game, like football game, like sometimes you're in the friggin' diner and it's playing. And apparently after an alien invasion, Mr. Brightside is also playing. But what you gonna do? It's not a bad song. But a girl named Kira apparently is staring at Luke in his algebra class, I believe they said. And apparently Ryder and Anisha are identifying the people that like him, I guess. And I think that was just a Discord notification. I'm sorry, guys. But I was a little like interested here, like, because I feel like last season Ryder and Luke were kind of being set up as getting together, and Ryder is kind of watching out for him. I didn't get the vibe that she liked him romantically, but we will see. If they don't do that, I'm actually fine with that. Just leave them as family, I guess. But we do get a conversation with Anisha and Ryder's character makes sense to me here. Basically, this dynamic, I like the dialogue in this episode. Dialogue should always attack and defend each other, both sides. And I like how Anisha's kind of pushing, like, why are you trying to push through school as soon as you can? Why are you working yourself to death? Just enjoy life now. And Ryder's excuses, she wants to be a doctor as soon as possible so she can do something in the event that the aliens do come back. And both sides made sense to me. I thought it was interesting. Ryder's characters actually had an interesting setup. And then Travante and Jamila show up to ruin this block party. Yeah. Then the intro hits, and I just want to say the intro still slaps. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that last. The intro is still incredible, even if the show is not as good as the first season, in my opinion. But maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change, guys. I don't like criticizing, okay? I enjoy the show. That's why I'm here. But I do love this team up, I guess. It's not really a team up, just an interaction between Anisha and Clark's family and Jamila and Travante, kind of like all the worlds together. There's a lot of that this episode, and we've been waiting on that, and I do like it. But here, Travante says Casper's dead. And here I thought to myself, why is Travante assuming that Casper's dead? When the world assumed he was dead. Yeah, he made it, you know. I feel like there's still a possibility Casper's alive. And if he is dead, I hope it's not Travante's fault like I was theorizing. But then they show Luke Casper's EKG. And like I finally said, this was so funny to me. Like I finally said, get a doctor to look at this EKG and show how ridiculous it is that they thought this was a legit EKG reading. Like, and then Anisha mentions like the amplitude doesn't look right, and it's just like, okay, we don't need reasons why it looks so ridiculous. It's just it literally doesn't look right. Okay, we don't need the amplitude like logic. Okay, I need to focus. I'm sorry guys, but this it's just so funny to me. I mentioned that one when they showed the EKG reading, and now we got a doctor to look at it. Thank you, Anisha, I appreciate that. And then I also thought it was funny, Jamila says, I'm no doctor. Yeah, we know, Jamila. You didn't question that reading there, did you? But Jamila says that she thinks the WDC doctors didn't say anything about the EKG to put the past behind them, and this kind of didn't make sense to me, because the WDC is literally chasing Mitsuki because they want the research. They want some sort of alien research, and they just don't care about Casper, you know? I mean, even if he's dead, like, oh, like, I don't see them rushing to put the past behind them when he has some sort of alien connection, right? Oh, and by the way, guys, there is some vacuuming in the rooms next door. Hopefully it will end during this recording, but hopefully you're not hearing that too loud. But Travante pushes Luke to really make sure. You sure you see the EKG reading? Clark gets a little upset. Luke leaves, but it's not on bad terms. But he doesn't leave not before Jamila says his band playing was wicked, which is great. Jamila's actually had pretty good comments, not gonna lie. But then Clark shows them a guy on the internet named Infinitas, who apparently just leaks government info consistently and never gets caught, which is kind of crazy. But then we see this like crazy thing is like the only known photo of Infinitas. This at least is what they think he is. Like this show's too funny sometimes. But apparently a signal that looked like that EKG, which again is the mothership beam, came and happened right before Travante came out of the portal, and apparently the signal that Mitsuki was also hearing. See, things are connecting. I love some of these connections. But there's apparently an Infinitas meeting in Baker City. And just to mention the photo, it's showing a photo of the guy seems random and weird. Unless, for two reasons, unless we are going to meet him and we need to be like, oh, that's Infinitas, like we need to know what he looks like, or it's to throw us off if we already know who he is. If we will figure out, if we will already have met a character before Infinitas that will be Infinitas, then we want that picture to throw us off. Those are like the only two reasons I feel like them featuring the photo of him. I like that they're not glossing over the fact that Travante is known. Like, he has to cover himself with the hoodie when he leaves the house. Like, this show isn't great at attention to detail sometimes, but I do like that attention to detail, of course. And Clark, with him knowing about Infinitas and this longing look he has, it's clear that he still wants to take part in the aliens, or something like that. My glasses are falling down, sorry. I don't know if the angle looks like I'm looking through the top or something. It's how it feels. It's also unrelated, I'm sorry guys. But this show sometimes fumbles with the dialogue. But I do like the scene with Anisha and Clark together in bed. The dialogue is good because it's once again attacking, defending, engaging. And they do feel like a real couple to me here, where sometimes they feel like fake love, but they felt genuine here, and I really like that. But we go to Jamila and Travante in the motel, apparently, and Jamila hears loud sounds, and she finds Travante with a bunch of broken furniture, apparently. And he says, I hope I didn't wake you. like, buddy. Buddy, you smashed furniture. You hope you didn't wake her. Nah, he's just lying. He's just lying. He knew what he was doing. But Jamila says, if we're in this together, you gotta be honest. And Travante says, we ain't in this together. But y'all are, you know? We want Travante to be like, yes, we're in this together. But I love their dynamic. Again, I like a lot about this episode. I like their dynamic of them both losing Casper and finding themselves through this, and I think it works really well. I'm excited for more of this duo. Well, it goes a little south, but also, where is Rose? Like, what? Rose, like Travante's like new lover? Like, he didn't care to look for her immediately? Like, I guess he's doing stuff, but it feels like not even mentioning her's a little weird. So I feel like her and Maya both not being mentioned like at all makes me think they might not even just acknowledge them anymore, which might have been like too many people to pay for their budget. Still a little interesting. Also, Anisha and Clark's bedroom is bright as hell. Like, how do they sleep in there? I mean, I know it's for the cameras, but still, I prefer, I think when shows have it darker, and the excuse to add light is like when they wake up and turn on a lamp or something. But I guess that's still bright as hell, and I guess people won't do that if they're tired at night. Won't turn that light on, maybe. But at this point in the episode, I realized the pacing is decent so far. It's not bad. And we go to Anisha, who finds Luke in the middle of the night, looking at his drawings that he apparently drew on the day that Travante came back. She says not to tell Clark, and that it is not happening again. The invasion's not happening again, not to worry. And then Anisha shows up at Travante's motel the next morning. Like, how'd she know? Like, how does she know exactly where he was, exactly that room and whatnot? I may have missed it. I think they may have told them the motel they were going to, but like, still, like, she might have gone to like the main office or something to look for the room. But I guess if you're working at the main office and somebody asks, where is this person, you probably shouldn't tell them in case they're not a good person. But she says, the first thing she says to him is, I need to know if it's happening again, even though she literally just told her son it's not happening again. So, mother of the year right there. But I love this look from Travante. It's just, it's such a great look that he gives Anisha. Like, what do you want from me, lady? Kind of a thing. And then she mentions Ryder's going back to college. Like, excuse me, Ryder does not look like she's old enough to go to college. Like, they were mentioning the prerequisites earlier. I guess, is that what she's doing in high school? She's doing the prerequisites. That might make sense. But still, is she even a high schooler? I don't know. She just looks young, I guess. Especially thinking last season that they were both like young kids. Luke and Ryder were like young. It's interesting. But Jamila pops in from the other door, and I appreciate this shot of her just popping in the background and the camera focusing on her. I do like it. I do like that. But Travante tells Jamila to stay put. And then they kind of talk, and Jamila's like, no, I have to go. And Travante's like, okay, you can come. And then Jamila, I saw it coming when Jamila started talking. Like, ooh, I'm excited for this or whatever. And the scene was still going. I was like, oh, Travante's just leaving her. No way he's just going to leave her, right? But he, like, locks her in the bathroom, closes it with a piece of furniture. He likes furniture, even though he also likes beating it up. Locks her in there. Leaves with Anisha and says, oh, she's setting this one out. And then we suddenly cut to Portal Site 11 in the Atlantic Ocean. and we get Nikhil. This is what I've been asking for, man. I've been asking for an episode where we see everyone, bro. Like, besides episode 9 of season 1 and whatnot, or besides some of the stuff, like the big episodes. I'm saying, like, just in general, I like cutting to all these people. It improves the pacing, man. If they did this the whole show, it might have been better. But I also do like episodes when we isolate on one plot line or one character. It gives you more time to appreciate them as well. So I like what they've done actually with season 1, where they did do that. But I think continuing to do that all the way through 2 and 3 as much was a little much. I think 2 and 3, they should really, starting now, get used to doing all kinds of stuff in the episode, not just one person's story. It's like Travante, then it's Anisha, and then it's Mitsuki, like all of them. And basically Nikhil bribes some guy, extra vacation, I guess, to let him into this facility. And why am I starting to like Nikhil? I kind of feel bad for it, but like, I hated him, but I'm starting to like him, guys. One of the funniest moments of the episode is the guy asks, why do you have someone with you? Who's Mitsuki? And he says, she's my assistant. She's staff. And then like kind of like pats her and she seems annoyed. That was funny to me. It was a good joke. But then we see two guys that see Travante when he shows up to the meeting with Anisha. Like, they identify Travante. They know it's him. They're like, oh shoot, that's Travante. They start to call somebody. And then they go into this Infinitas event with some pretty good security. And somehow Travante says those people that the tattoos are full-blown psychos. Don't know how he knows that. But this gathering, it is clear that it's a gathering for people that like guns. They want to take control of the invasion by fighting themselves. Kind of conspiracy theories. Kind of a bunch of dangerous people, I guess. Not people I would love to go on like a restaurant date with. I don't think I'd be dating any of those men anyways. But the tension building was great here. It was great. If you feel uneasy, you're kind of scared for the characters. The props are also great here. All the designs, I think the props were great. I don't know how else to say. They were well done. Good props. But a guy shows up, demands Travante takes off his hat and glasses. When he says no or whatever, he knocks his hat off for him. Rude. And then there's just this funny voice in the background that says, that's Travante Cole, man. In the background, that's just such a background voice. It's so funny to me. But I thought they would like him at first, but then I got surprised when they started riding against him. Like, the WDC is looking for this guy the most, right? Like, I don't know why they were upset. I guess they saw that he was awarded a medal, but I like figure, like Jack said, Travante Cole is the most wanted man in the world, with everyone looking for him. Like, I figure if people know that, if he really is the most wanted man in the world, people probably know. But I'm not sure. But luckily Anisha shows up with a getaway car. They get out of there, and Anisha tells Travante that Luke lied about the aliens, that he saw the images that night. And Anisha says it's terrifying to have everything you've ever wanted, and doesn't even need to explain exactly why. We know why it's terrifying. We can infer. I like that they're trusting the audience a little more this episode instead of having to like be generic and feed it to us. But I do like everyone's character arcs. I'm invested. I'm more invested than I was in season 2 for everyone. I genuinely am. So that's nice. That'll make the next episodes even better. I like that kind of nothing is happening. Like, there is no invasion yet, these first few episodes. It's just really a lot of build up and character like arc startings. That's not a great description, but like the whole show has done that, of course. A lot of build up instead of like in action. but I like the build up, but I also kind of want to get into the action because the build up has done its job. The setup has set up well. Now, if we get right into the delivery of this setup, like for the next 7 episodes or so, like, okay, I might be asking for too much, but if like the rest of the season is just like, boom, it's the invasion's back, it's the final fight, because this might be the final season. It's the final fight. Finally, the title of the show is Invasion. We fight against the invasion. Everyone completes their character arcs, and then this epic finale, right? That's what I'd hope for the next 7 episodes, right? But realistically, I guess I'm hoping for the last 3 to at least be like that. But anyways, I mean, I still like the show. But they receive a message from Infinitas himself, apparently. And I was wondering, there was one guy staring at them they featured in the crowd. Not subtly at all. They featured that he was staring. I was wondering, is that guy Infinitas? But I don't think he is. But it definitely... I mean, it kind of seems like a trap since they just escaped the meeting or whatever. And now they want them back. Like, I don't know. Little sus timing. But Anisha says, I'll be home by dinner. And in that moment, I was like, I don't think so. When somebody says that in a show, nah, I don't think so, bro. How do you even know that? Like, that's a good question. It's the second time in this episode she said something where she doesn't know if that's true for sure. You don't know if that's true for sure. She said it with Luke that the invasion is not coming back. And now here, I'm going to be home by dinner. You don't know that, bro. Hopefully you'll be home back by dinner. But we go back to Nikhil and Mitsuki, which was maybe my favorite dialogue from the episode. Because it told so much and advanced their relationship so much in just a couple minutes. Where Nikhil's like, it's my skin on the line too if I get caught. And Mitsuki points out, it's not your skin, it's your contracts. Right? It's your contracts. It's going to be my skin, just like it was before. And Nikhil, for someone who actually, I don't know, kind of has an ego, always thinks he's right, actually quiets down and like realizes Mitsuki's right. And I like the growth. I like them as characters, and I want them to get along more. But Mitsuki gets a sound attack, I guess, while they are hiding, of course, from some WDC guys, some military, I guess. And she says something is getting stronger. And we don't know what that something is now, but we do by the end of this episode, probably. But she looks at the hatch while she says that. And I wrote down a note that says, something gonna bust on out of there, bro. I was not wrong. Then we go to Travante, who has a gun as they show up to this location. It's better than nothing, that gun. But I like this wide shot for some reason. For some reason I do. There's this puddle, this light coming in after the car's just been on that water. It's clear. I like the shot. I don't know. Sometimes you just like random shots. But Travante points a gun at a car who pulls up, and she just rolls down the window and says, "Hi, I'm Debbie," with a gun pointed to her face. I guess she's used to that kind of thing. But already kind of a funny vibe. But I'm gonna point out that I do like the show, but I feel like almost the last season 2 and kind of the first 2 episodes has been almost entirely cliche or typical tropes. Like, I feel like that's where the genericness comes from the show sometimes, is where it feels like it's predictable a little bit. You know, you've seen these things before, these tropes. But I like that this episode has a little more originality, I'd feel like, compared to the other ones. And of course, that's why I like season 1. Season 1 felt original and like a new take on an invasion, until they went back to their genericness because the ratings weren't great for season 1. But I wish they would have stayed more towards season 1, but I think they're getting there. I like the episode. But Debbie says she has kids, apparently. She does a little smile, and apparently her real name isn't Debbie. And she drops off Travante and Anisha at this house. And here I was wondering, how are they gonna get back? Debbie drove them. Where are they? How are they gonna get back to that parking garage? So I don't know, but they go inside this house, and we get the guy that was staring at them at the event, who is here, who opens the door for them, and we get a creepy old cult lady, who reminds me of, oh my god, from Superman and Lois season 2. It starts with an A, her name, doesn't it? Ash, Allie Elston. Okay, look up Allie Elston, or no, I'll probably do it for you guys. She kind of looks like her, and she was also a cult leader. I don't know if this person's a cult leader, but similar vibes, especially with the earrings. I don't know why they like their earrings, these cult leaders, but I don't like this situation. I feel off. But apparently the other time this frequency that they've been looking at popped up is when the hunter killers arrived. They play this frequency, and Travante gets this pain in his head, and we see some more visuals of him touching like goop on the wall in the mothership, and we get almost like a full look of the alien here. And then we see it kind of rip through the wall, and it sends him. Once again, we've seen him be sent a few times now, but we kind of get more of an idea of what happened. But right after this, the FBI barges in, I guess, takes Travante, and like groups up the other people. Like, how did they know? How did they know Travante was here, bro? I want these answers. How do people know where people are in this show, you know? Again, the kind of the same thing happens at the portal site with Mitsuki and Nikhil. Like, the WDC guys burst in. Like, how did they know they were there? Maybe they saw them copying files or something. But they smashed the door in on Mitsuki and Nikhil. And Mitsuki's eyes here, I love her performance as always. They kind of almost turned dark. Like, it wasn't even an effect. I'm not saying like actually dark, but I could just see it in the actress's eyes, you know. Turned dark, and she screams. Then she barely gets in like a run, like, and then this black and blue parallax thing bursts from the hatch, like the trailer, and Mitsuki kind of collapses, passes out. Nikhil rescues her, and they leave that room, and we don't know what happens there. I was actually getting excited. Like, why am I getting excited again? Like, maybe it's I just love this setup and getting into the action, and just did not think I'd love Nikhil and Mitsuki's team up as much as I do. And I think they probably are the best actors and characters, is why I'm just very interested. But we see that there's active battle zones on the news. There's alien infrastructure emerging from the portals. I guess maybe the hatch is coming from everywhere else too. But we see Clark's family watching the news. Clark and Anisha's family, obviously, and they are separated from Anisha during this crisis, sadly. Anisha feels like she's separated from her family a bit in this show through all 3 seasons. And then Jamila shows up at the door and asks where Travante is, and boom, credits, that is it. And as you can tell probably from this video, I did not mind this episode. It's the first time I felt excited for the next week. Like, I'm excited for next episode. Let's hope they don't let me down. But I'm excited, yeah. Like to see where it's going. If they continue this format with this episode showing everybody's story in one episode, and then plus this added new threat with whatever this parallax thing is, I'm excited. But I don't want it to be like what they did in the finale. Like, oh, there's a big threat, but it's like, oh, wait. We tune into the episode like 1 day later, and the threat is gone, and it's mysterious. Like, whoa, why did those things come out of the portal and now they're just gone? I can see them doing that. Please don't do that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This video probably came out a little later than normal. I'm sorry. Busy stuff for me today, but I'm gonna try and get this out ASAP. Next week's will hopefully be sooner. Can't make promises, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed Invasion Season 3, Episode 3. Hope you're excited for Season 3, Episode 4 like I am, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.